Captain Lee Minho stared at the view screen as his ship approached the outer rim planet. The blue and green world looked peaceful from space, but his sensors told a different story. 3 massive warships orbited the planet like hungry predators. "Captain, we're receiving distress signals from the surface," said Communications Officer Choi Dongmin. His young face looked worried as he adjusted his headset. Minho nodded. He had heard about this place. The locals called it Garden World because of the beautiful plants that grew there. The people who lived there were called the Lumari. They looked like walking trees with silver bark and glowing leaves. They were peaceful farmers who grew special fruits that could heal any sickness. "What kind of distress signals?" Minho asked. "They're asking for help, sir. Someone is attacking their villages." Engineer Park Sora looked up from her control panel. "Those are Vorthon ships, Captain. Military grade. What are they doing here?" Minho knew exactly what they were doing. The Vorthons were one of the powerful species that controlled the galaxy. They had big guns and bigger attitudes. The Lumari had no weapons and no voice in galactic politics. That made them easy targets. "Take us down to the surface," Minho ordered. "But keep our shields ready." "Sir, those Vorthon ships have enough firepower to destroy us 10 times over," Sora warned. "I know," Minho said quietly. "But we can't just watch." The human ship landed near a Lumari village. Smoke rose from burning buildings. Minho could see the tree-like people running in panic as armored Vorthon soldiers chased them with energy, weapons. "This is wrong," whispered Medic Kim Ji-won. She was the newest member of the crew, fresh out of medical school. "They're not even fighting back." "The Lumari don't believe in violence," Minho explained. "They think all life is sacred. That's why the Vorthons can do whatever they want to them." A group of Vorthon soldiers surrounded a family of Lumari near the landing area. The aliens looked like giant lizards wearing black armor. One soldier raised his weapon toward a small Lumari child. "That's enough," Minho said. He grabbed his sidearm and headed for the exit. "Sora, Ji-won, you're with me. Dongmin, keep the engines running." The 3 humans ran toward the Vorthons. Minho fired a warning shot over their heads. The soldiers turned in surprise. "Leave them alone," Minho shouted in Galactic Standard language. The lead Vorthon laughed. He was bigger than the others, with scars across his scaled face. "Humans? What are you weak mammals doing here? Stopping you from hurting innocent people? These tree creatures belong to the hegemony now. Their fruits will serve the greater galaxy. You have no authority here, human." Minho stepped closer. "I have the authority of basic decency." The scarred Vorthon raised his weapon. "You dare challenge us? Your species isn't even ranked by the Council. You're nothing." "Maybe," Minho said. "But we're here, and you're going to stop." Behind him, Sora powered up a portable shield generator while Ji-won knelt beside the wounded Lumari. The tree people watched with their large, gentle eyes. They had never seen anyone stand up for them before. "There are 3 of you, and 30 of us," the Vorthon commander said. "This is foolish." "Probably," Minho agreed. "But it's also right." For a long moment, nobody moved. The Vorthon soldiers looked confused. In their experience, weak species never challenged strong ones. It was against the natural order. Then something unexpected happened. A Lumari elder stepped forward. His bark was dark with age, and his leaves glowed bright gold. He placed a gentle hand on Minho's shoulder. "Thank you," the elder said in perfect human language. "No one has ever defended us before." Other Lumari began to gather. They formed a circle around the humans, not to protect them, but to show unity. Their leaves began to glow brighter, creating a soft light that pushed back the shadows. The Vorthon commander looked uncertain. His orders were to harvest the healing fruits and relocate the Lumari to work camps. Nobody had mentioned anything about other species interfering. "This is not over," he warned. "The Hegemony Council will hear about this." "Good," Minho said. "Tell them Captain Lee Minho of Earth sends his regards." The Vorthons retreated to their ships, but Minho knew they would be back. He had just broken one of the galaxy's unwritten rules. The strong dominated the weak. That was how things worked. As the human ship prepared to leave, the Lumari elder approached Minho one last time. "You have given us something precious," the elder said. "Hope. We will remember this day. Others will hear about what humans did here." "I hope so," Minho replied. "Everyone deserves to have someone speak for them." The elder smiled, his leaves shimmering. Perhaps the time of silence is ending. As the human ship lifted off, Minho watched the Lumari villages below. For the first time in centuries, the gentle tree people stood tall instead of hiding. Word would spread quickly through the underground networks that connected all the oppressed species. The weak had found an unexpected ally. The galaxy was about to change whether the Hegemony Council liked it or not. News traveled fast in the dark corners of the galaxy. Within days of the incident on Garden World, encrypted messages began reaching the human ship from species that most people thought were extinct or unimportant. Lieutenant Han Yunji sat at her communication station, translating another coded transmission. "Captain, we're getting messages from at least 12 different species. They all want to talk to us." Captain Lee Minho rubbed his tired eyes. He had not slept well since leaving the Lumari homeworld. "What do they want?" "Help, sir. They've all heard what we did for the Lumari." The first visitors arrived at their secret meeting point near an abandoned mining station. They called themselves the Song Weavers. They looked like tall, thin birds, with rainbow feathers and large, intelligent eyes. Their leader spoke in musical tones that sounded like wind chimes. "Humans help the tree people," the Song Weaver said. "Maybe humans will help us too." Engineer Park Sora leaned forward. "What's wrong?" "The Hegemony corporations steal our songs. We create music that can heal minds and calm anger. They record our voices and sell them across the galaxy, but they give us nothing. Our children go hungry while others profit from our gifts." Medic Kim Ji-won looked angry. "That's terrible. Your music should belong to you." The Song Weaver's feathers dimmed with sadness. "We tried to complain to the council. They said we should be grateful that our songs bring joy to important species. They said art has no value unless it serves the strong." Communications Officer Choi Dong-min was busy recording everything. "How many of your people are affected?" "All of us. Millions of song weavers across 50 worlds. We have no voice in galactic politics, no weapons to fight with. We can only sing, and even that is taken from us." More refugees arrived each day. The builders came next. They looked like walking crystals with multiple arms that could shape matter with just a touch. Their cities were beautiful works of art that took centuries to complete. "The Hegemony forces us to build weapons and warships," their representative explained. "We are artists, not makers of death, but if we refuse, they destroy our crystal children and scatter our families." Then came the Keepers, small furry creatures who maintained vast libraries of galactic history. "They burn our books," the elderly keeper whispered. "Thousands of years of knowledge gone. They say only military history matters now." Each group brought the same story. The powerful species in the galaxy had decided that only strength mattered. Art, music, healing, knowledge, and peace had no value. The gentle races were forced to serve or face extinction. Minho gathered his crew in the ship's small meeting room. "We can't help everyone," he said. "We're just one ship with 6 people. 7 people, corrected a new voice. A young Lumari had joined their crew after the rescue mission. His name was Brightleaf, and he had become their translator for plant-based species. "Right, 7 people, Minho smiled. "But the point stands. How do we fight an entire galactic government?" Sora pulled up star charts on the main screen. "We don't fight them directly. We do what we did on Garden World. We help where we can, and make noise about it." "The message is already spreading," Yunji added. "I've been monitoring underground networks. Species that haven't talked to outsiders in decades are suddenly sharing information. They're calling it the human example." "The human example?" Ji-won asked. "The idea that someone might actually help without wanting anything in return. Most of these species thought they were alone." Dongmin looked up from his console. Captain, we're getting a priority message from the Hegemony Council. The main screen filled with the image of a massive creature that looked like a cross between a shark and a lizard. Its voice was deep and threatening. Human vessel, you are ordered to report to Council Station immediately. Your interference with Hegemony operations is a violation of galactic law. Minho stared at the screen. Tell them we're busy. Sir? Dongmin looked surprised. You heard me. We're busy helping people who need help. If the Council wants to talk, they can come find us. The crew exchanged worried glances. Refusing a direct order from the Hegemony Council was basically a declaration of war. Captain, warned Sora, they'll send hunter fleets after us. Let them try, Minho said. We've got something they don't expect. What's that? Friends. As if to prove his point, new ships began appearing on their sensors. A Songweaver art ship, shimmering like music made solid. A builder transport that looked like a flying cathedral. Even a tiny keeper library ship that was mostly books held together by force fields. They're not warships, Brightleaf observed. No, Minho agreed. But they're here. For the first time in galactic history, the weak are standing together instead of hiding alone. A message arrived from the lead Songweaver ship. Humans gave us hope. Now we give humans harmony. We sing together or we fall alone. Minho looked at his mixed crew of humans and refugees. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing the most powerful military force in the galaxy. But for the first time in centuries, the voiceless were finding their courage. The ripple effect had begun. 3 months after the first rescue mission, Captain Lee Minho's ship had become something he never expected. The cargo bay was full of families from 6 different species, all fleeing hegemony persecution. The small human vessel had somehow become the center of the largest refugee operation in galactic history. Captain, we have a problem, said pilot Jung Hyein as she checked the navigation charts. Hegemony hunter ships are blocking all the main trade routes. They're looking for us. Minho studied the star map on the main screen. Red dots marked enemy positions across 3 sectors. What about the asteroid belt near Kepler 186? Too dangerous. Those rocks could crush our ship. Not if we have the right guide, said a new voice. A tall, crystalline being entered the bridge. This was Sharp Edge, a builder who had joined their crew after his home city was destroyed. My people know secret paths through dangerous places. We built hidden stations in that belt centuries ago. Scout Yoon Tae-hyun looked up from his sensor. Greetings. The hegemony will never think to look there. They avoid anything that might damage their pretty warships. In the cargo hold, Engineer Park Sora was teaching a group of young songweavers how to repair damaged equipment. Their musical voices made even mechanical work sound beautiful. Nearby, medic Kim Ji-won treated injuries while Brightleaf, their Lumari friend, used his healing abilities to help the most seriously wounded refugees. How many more ships are coming? Asked Minho as he walked through the crowded spaces. Communications Officer Choi Dong-min checked his console. 17 more vessels requesting pickup, 2 keeper library ships, 3 Songweaver family groups, and a builder colony transport that's been hiding in a dead star system for 40 years. 40 years? Sora looked shocked. Sharp Edge's crystal body dimmed with sadness. When the hegemony first rose to power, many of my people fled to hidden places. We thought it would be temporary. We thought someone would stop the madness. Someone did, said a small keeper who was organizing rescued books in the corner. Humans came. The refugee network had grown beyond anything Minho imagined. What started as one ship helping the Lumari had become a galaxy-spanning operation. They had established hidden bases on dead worlds, secret supply depots in nebulae, and safe houses on planets the hegemony ignored. Each rescued species contributed something valuable. The Songweavers used their music to create early warning systems, their voices carrying across space to alert other refugees of danger. The builders constructed invisible shelters that looked like natural rock formations. The keepers maintained communication networks using knowledge the hegemony had tried to destroy. Contact ahead, announced Hyen as they approached the asteroid belt. It's a distress signal. On the main screen, They could see a damaged Songweaver ship drifting between two massive rocks. Its beautiful hull was scarred by weapon fire, and its musical beacon was weak and fading. Hegemony attack, Taehyun reported. 3 Songweaver, families aboard. Life support failing. Minho didn't hesitate. Take us in. Sora, prepare for emergency docking. Captain, warned Hien, there are hegemony patrol ships in the area. If we stop to help, they might find us. Then we better work fast. The rescue took 20 minutes. 20 minutes of Sora working frantically to repair the damaged ship, while Jiwon treated injured Songweavers. The refugees sang softly as they worked, their voices somehow making everyone move faster and think clearer. As they finished loading the survivors, Taehyun's sensors screamed a warning. 4 hegemony destroyers closing fast. They found us. The enemy ships appeared like predators emerging from the shadows. Their commander's voice filled the communication channels. Human vessel, you are surrounded. Surrender the illegal refugees and prepare to be boarded. Minho looked at the scared faces around him. Songweaver children with dimmed feathers. Builder families whose crystal bodies flickered with fear. Keeper elders clutching precious books, all of them looking to him for protection. This is Captain Lee Minho, he broadcast back. These people aren't illegal. They're free beings seeking safety from oppression. They are property of the hegemony. You have 10 seconds to comply. Counteroffer, Minho said calmly. You have 10 seconds to leave. The hegemony commander laughed. You're 1 ship against 4 destroyers. This is over. Look again, said Kane with a smile. The asteroid belt suddenly came alive. Hidden builder stations powered up, their weapons targeting the hegemony ships. Songweaver vessels appeared from behind rocks, their music creating interference with enemy sensors. A massive Keeper library ship emerged from what looked like an empty nebula. Impossible, the hegemony commander whispered. Not impossible, Minho corrected. Just unexpected. You've been hunting us for months, but you never realized we weren't running. We were organizing. 20 ships surrounded the 4 hegemony destroyers. Not warships, but cargo vessels, art ships, and mobile libraries. Each one filled with refugees who refused to be silent anymore. The Songweavers began to sing, their combined voices creating a harmony that echoed across space. The builders showed their architectural wonders on display screens. The keepers broadcast forgotten histories that proved the galaxy had once been peaceful. For the first time in galactic history, the weak outnumbered the strong in a direct confrontation. The hegemony ships retreated without firing a shot. As the refugee fleet celebrated, Minho realized something important had happened. They weren't just rescuing individuals anymore. They were preserving the galaxy's soul. Dr. Nam Seojin had been working in the converted cargo bay of the human ship for 3 weeks straight. The space was now filled with strange equipment that hummed and glowed with alien technology. Crystals from the builders pulsed with soft light. Songweaver voice recorders created musical patterns in the air. Keeper data cores processed information at incredible speeds. Doctor, you need to sleep, said medic Kim Ji-won as she brought him another cup of coffee. You can't work for days without rest. Seojin rubbed his tired eyes and looked at his notes. I'm close to something important, Ji-won. The Songweavers can communicate with their minds across short distances. The Keepers can share memories instantly. The builders think in mathematical patterns that span light years. So what if we could connect all these abilities together? What if every oppressed species in the galaxy could speak with one voice? Captain Lee Minho entered the makeshift laboratory, stepping carefully around the delicate equipment. Doctor, we just received word from our scouts. The Hegemony Council is planning something big. They're gathering military forces from 12 different systems. They're scared, observed Sharp Edge, the builder who had become Seojin's main assistant. Our rescue operations are making them look weak. They need to show strength. Brightleaf, the Lumari, touched one of the glowing crystals with his bark-like hand. The stones sing of connection. All life speaks the same language underneath. Seojin suddenly stood up straight. That's it. Brightleaf, you're a genius. What did I say? All life speaks the same language underneath. Every species in the galaxy evolved from the same basic patterns. We just need to find the frequency that connects them all. Commander O. Minseok, who had joined their crew with a group of rescued keepers, looked skeptical. Doctor, you're talking about linking the minds of billions of beings across thousands of light years. That's impossible. The hegemony thought. Refugees organizing was impossible too, Minho pointed out. How long do you need, Doctor? Give me 48 hours. The next 2 days were chaos. Every rescued species contributed something to the project. The song weavers provided harmonic frequencies that could travel through subspace. The builders created amplification crystals that could boost signals across galactic distances. The keepers programmed translation matrices that could convert thoughts into universal patterns. Engineer Park Sora worked with alien technology she barely understood, connecting human computers to crystalline networks that thought in colors and music. Doctor, the power requirements alone should make this impossible. We're drawing energy from 3 different dimensional planes. The universe wants to be connected, Seojin said as he made final adjustments to the central device. We're just giving it away to speak. Communications Officer Choi Dong-min monitored the galaxy-wide networks. Sir, hegemony forces are moving toward the capital. They're planning something huge. Scout Yoon Tae-hyun burst into the laboratory. Captain, emergency transmission from the resistance cells. The Hegemony Council is announcing a final solution for the refugee problem. They're going to wipe out every hidden base we've established. Minho looked at the strange device that Seojin had built. It was beautiful in an alien way, with crystals that sang, metals that flowed like water, and lights that pulsed with the rhythm of a galactic heartbeat. Is it ready? There's only one way to find out, Seojin replied. The test began with a single song weaver placing her feathered hand on the device. Her voice, usually limited to a few-mile radius, suddenly echoed from speakers on ships across 3 star systems. Then a builder touched his crystal body to the amplifier, and his mathematical thoughts became visible as geometric patterns that other builders could see from light years away. It's working, breathed Jiwon, one by one. Representatives from every rescued species made contact with the voice amplifier. The keepers shared memories of galactic history. The Lumari transmitted feelings of peace and growth. The gentle weavers who made clothes from starlight showed images of beauty that brought tears to hardened soldiers' eyes. Broadcasting to all frequencies, announced Dongmin. Every communication channel in the galaxy is carrying the signal. For the first time in galactic history, the silenced majority spoke with one voice. Billions of oppressed beings flooded the networks with their stories. Tales of families separated, children sold into slavery, entire worlds stripped of resources while their inhabitants starved. The testimonies were overwhelming. Species that the hegemony claimed were happy and prosperous revealed the truth about their suffering. Beings that were supposed to be extinct told stories of hiding in caves and abandoned stations for generations. On the hegemony capital world, emergency sessions were called as government officials tried desperately to jam the signals. But Sora had learned from the builders how to create redundant networks. Every time they blocked one frequency, 10 more opened up. They can't silence us anymore, said the lead song weaver, her musical voice carrying across the galaxy. For too long we whispered in the dark. Now we sing in the light. The voice amplifier had done more than just let oppressed species communicate. It had shown them their own strength. Billions of beings realized they were not alone in their suffering. In response, the Hegemony Council made a fateful decision. If they could not silence the voices, they would destroy the speakers. Military orders went out across the galaxy. All refugee camps, hidden bases, and resistance cells were to be eliminated immediately. The galaxy held its breath as 2 forces prepared for the final confrontation. The attack came at dawn on the capital world of the Hegemony Council. Thousands of refugee ships had gathered in peaceful orbit around the massive space station where galactic law was made. They came not with weapons, but with hope that their voices would finally be heard. Captain Lee Minho stood on the bridge of his ship watching the incredible sight. Songweaver vessels that looked like flying musical instruments floated beside builder ships shaped like crystal cathedrals. Keeper library ships glowed with the light of preserved knowledge, while Lumari bioships pulsed with living energy. "Sir, we're receiving over 3 million individual transmissions," reported Communications Officer Choi Dong-min, his voice filled with wonder. "Every refugee ship is broadcasting their story simultaneously." The voice amplifier that Dr. Nam Seo-jin had created was working perfectly. For the first time in galactic history, representatives from over 200 oppressed species were speaking together in the very heart of hegemony power. Ambassador Lee Salmon, who had joined their crew specifically for this moment, prepared her diplomatic message. She was young but determined, chosen because she had a gift for making complex ideas simple. Honored council members, her voice carried across all frequencies, we come in peace to request what should be the right of all thinking beings. We ask only to be heard. The response from the council chamber was immediate and harsh. Warlord Krex of the Vorthons appeared on the main view screen, his scarred reptilian face twisted with rage. Illegal gatherings will be dispersed. You have violated restricted space. Surrender immediately or face the consequences. We're not armed, Soman replied calmly. We're not threatening anyone. We're just asking to participate in the government that controls our lives. Participation is earned through strength, Krex snarled. The weak exist to serve the strong. That is natural law. Around Minho, his mixed crew of humans and aliens watched the exchange. Engineer Park Sora monitored their defensive systems while medic Kim Ji-won prepared medical stations for casualties. They all knew this moment would determine the future of the galaxy. Natural law says that diversity makes ecosystems stronger. Brightleaf, their Lumari friend, transmitted through the voice amplifier. When only the strongest predators survive, the whole system dies. More voices joined in. A builder mathematician proved with elegant equations that cooperation created more wealth than conquest. A keeper historian showed examples of civilizations that thrived through peace rather than war. A songweaver composer demonstrated how harmony was more beautiful than any single voice. The evidence was overwhelming. The gathered refugees represented billions of beings who had created art, science, medicine, and beauty, while the hegemony focused only on weapons and domination. But the Council's response was predictable. All vessels, open fire, Krex commanded. The attack was swift and brutal. Hegemony warships emerged from behind the space station and began targeting the peaceful refugee fleet. Their first shot struck a Songweaver hospital ship, killing hundreds of injured beings who had come seeking only to be heard. The massacre was broadcast live across the galaxy. What happened next surprised everyone, including Minho. Instead of running or fighting back, the refugee ships began to sing, not just the Songweavers, but all of them. The builders created mathematical harmonies with their crystal formations. The keepers shared memory songs of ancient peace. The Lumari grew special flowers that released spores carrying the scent of hope itself. As the combined song spread across space, something incredible happened. Ships throughout the galaxy began responding. Not just refugee vessels, but merchants, explorers, scientists, and even some military crews from hegemony species themselves. Captain, Dongmin's voice was filled with amazement. We're receiving support messages from over 50 different star systems, including some from the hegemony core worlds. The attack on peaceful protesters had shown the galaxy what the hegemony truly represented. Even some of their own citizens were horrified by the violence against beings who wanted only to participate in galactic society. Commander Oh Min-seok, monitoring the strategic situation, reported rapidly changing conditions. Sir, the economic networks are shifting. Trade routes controlled by refugee-friendly species are cutting off hegemony worlds. Their own people are starting to question orders. The voice amplifier carried Ambassador Soman's message to every inhabited world. True strength isn't measured by who you can silence, but by how many voices you choose to hear. The simple truth of those words echoed across the galaxy. Within hours, moderate members of the Hegemony Council began breaking away. They couldn't support a government that murdered beings for asking to be treated as equals. "The Harmony Doctrine," announced the leader of the breakaway faction, a wise old creature from the Centauri system. "Every thinking being deserves representation, regardless of military power. Every voice matters. Every life has value." The old hegemony structure crumbled like a house built on sand. Some die-hard militarists retreated to the Outer Rim, but most worlds joined the new Galactic Harmony Alliance. Minho found himself appointed as humanity's first ambassador to the Alliance, but he knew the real victory belonged to all the beings who had found the courage to speak truth to power. Standing in the new council chambers, he watched representatives from hundreds of species working together. Former farmers now debated policy with retired generals. Artists helped write laws alongside warriors. The galaxy's greatest strength had never been its weapons, but the incredible diversity of minds that could dream of better futures. The weak had found their voice, and the galaxy sang with harmony.